Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so here's the deal. Now we know what the Brooklyn Nets plan is. Two coaching candidates have emerged: Quinn Snyder and Ime Udoka. Now, when the story first broke with Ime Udoka's situation, and it said that they were going to be letting him um, walk away from the team for a year and suspend him from the Boston Celtics and this and that, the first thing that came to mind for me was, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I'm firing Steve Nash and I'm hiring Ime Udoka and I'm asking questions later. Just later. Like, we'll figure it out. If we have to suspend him within our organization, we'll do that. But me, I'm like, all right, let's just get him here quickly and then we'll figure out what he did. Then when things started being revealed to us, it was like, okay, this is a little more serious than something you want to play around with like that. But I figured that if the story went away and time passed and people took well enough to the news and enough things happened to where people were not focused on that with so much intent, yeah, it could be an opportunity for him to come back and play coach basketball. Now, I thought maybe even a week ago, it crossed my mind that the Boston Celtics were hoping that this would die down so that at the end of this tenure, this year of him being suspended, they too could bring him back. That crossed my mind just at random. I don't think I made a video about it. I was like, yo, this story did quiet down. I don't think they're going to bring him back right now, but if I'm the Celtics, I'm like, okay, is he getting himself whatever needs to be done? Is he straightening out his personal life so that he can be in a focused space to come back and coach? Because at the end of the day, he's that great of a coach. I mean, he was a rookie coach last year and did historic stuff, albeit with a fantastic roster, but you definitely see where he comes in and immediately changes your culture in any situation. And even if your canvas or your foundation is not strong, you get him in there, and at least you know he can set the culture for whatever you're going to build next. So if you have to tear everything down, you got the right guy in place. So that's the type of thing that I think the Lakers have in place with Darvin Ham. I believe that could be the case. And I definitely know that with Ime Udoka, if his head is on straight, he's one of the best coaches in the league. Does that translate to when he doesn't have as talented of a roster? I don't know. You're only as good as a team that can help you do what it is that needs to be done. And as far as I can tell, the Brooklyn Nets are a broken roster. I'm just being real. And I don't know. I don't know that Ime Udoka is going to get out of that roster what he needs in order to continue looking like the Ime Udoka that we know him to be. But I don't care if I'm the Brooklyn Nets because, just like what I said, he's hire him anyway. So from what I understand, that's what they're going to do. From what I understand, they're trying to finalize the deal now. Although Quinn Snyder's name has been mentioned, I don't think they want Quinn Snyder over Ime Udoka. I don't believe so. I like Quinn Snyder, but we saw out of Utah, it was specific to what they had, the type of style that they had with the players that they were using, and they got success out of the situation, but it got to a point where they could only but get so far. So when you think about where Ime Udoka took his team, the fact that he's a free agent, you know he's one of the best coaches in the league, regardless of what just took place. The fact that he's a free agent out there, you knew a team was going to jump on that situation, and a team like Brooklyn needed to be the team that did that because obviously their situation with Steve Nash, it was clear that he needed to be removed, and it was also clear that they needed somebody in place that could be sturdy of us in terms of his system, in terms of defensive principles, and just overall they needed a really, really talented coach in place. So that's what they're doing. They're giving themselves a talented coach. Now, where he is mentally with all the stress that he's been through, all the circumstances surrounding the specifics of what's going on, I don't know what's real, what's not, what's true, what's not, I don't know. But if you look at everything with face value, a lot of what was going on there just seemed like stuff that he needed to take time to figure out how to get under control. So if he didn't do that, there's no guarantee that things are going to go well here. And so that's really what it comes down to. But trust is a big deal. My thing was I could not hire Ime Udoka after hearing the story because I felt like he put other circumstances above the team. And when you're asking people to put the team first, you can't be distracted. You certainly can't be distracted in the ways that they were alleging he was. And like I said, it looked like some things were outside of his control based on the specifics of the story that was put out there. So, and I ain't saying outside of his control as in he couldn't do nothing about it. I'm saying he was out of control according to them stories. So it's like, all right, did he get himself where he needed to be? in order to be able to function and put the team first and be a professional and be focused and take on the adversity of basketball and all these different things that's going to be required of him. This is, like I said, a more difficult task. This is a less talented team. And most importantly, it's the team that he just swept out of the first round. So if he can turn them around, he may really be one of the best coaches in the world. But this is a real tall task, and he's coming from a very stressful place, I'd imagine. So, look, as I said, if he comes in right, boom, you got a culture setter. If he comes in where he was, when all this took place, you're not bringing in the most focused guy, and for a team that's having all these issues, with all the different stuff that's going on with the team, you would just think that we want to bring in a bit more of a sturdy, environment setter, somebody that you ain't got to ask no questions about, especially deep questions about, But I understand the talent takes precedent in this situation, so I don't know. I think the good thing about this, though, the fact that this is not really that young of a team. Granted, they do have some young pieces and young players, but my thing with Udoka is I don't want him to be the guy influencing men in life right now. With the choices that have been alleged that he's made, there needs to be some people in between him and the kids to help them understand some things in life that maybe the coach is supposed to be able to naturally teach these kids. I just don't think it's going to go through with all this information that's out about him, whether it's true or not, unless he's able to have a sit-down conversation with those young players, say, I made these mistakes and I've learned. If he ain't in that space and he's still engaging in that same energy, that can spread like wildfire, especially amongst young people. So I just think that behavior is contagious. I really do. You got to be steady, you got to be mature, and you got to understand how to navigate away from certain things in order to lead young men. And so that's what I believe. I really believe that. And people who fail to do that should not be leaders. They should be led. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. It's a good thing that they're an older team. That's the point. I think he can handling KD and them. They grown. KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons. These guys are grown men. They look at you doing something stupid. They're going to look at you as somebody doing something stupid, not somebody who they should be listening to and taking pointers from in regards to life. So I think that's the point. They're just going to look at him like, bro, you want to do some dumb stuff? This is you doing some dumb stuff. As opposed to a young player, it's like, can I get away with that too? That kind of dumb stuff. So, yeah, no, we don't want that. We don't want that, and that would be why I wouldn't hire him. But all in all, at the end of the day, if the Brooklyn Nets are comfortable with what they're bringing in, and they think it's going to be the Hail Mary situation that's going to save their season, I think it's definitely worth a shot. With the talent that the coach has, it's not an average coach, it's not an okay coach. This is one of the best coaches. So if you have an opportunity at bringing him in and you think he's going to be all right and ready to go, then obviously you got to do that if you're in that situation. So overall, I don't know if I should support it or not. I don't know. Given the circumstances that are out there and all of that, I don't know. But what I can say is he's a talented coach, and if he comes in with his head on straight, this team is going to immediately improve. Well, not immediately, but he will get them to be a better team by the end of the season than they are right now. I know that. Immediate improvement is not something you look for. You give him time just like you give anybody else to implement their situation, implement their system, learn the players and all of these different things. So, saying a defensive team, he's used to defensive team. He's used to a certain type of roster with a lot of size, positionless players that can play defense, guys that have intangibles on that side of the ball. This is not that kind of roster, buddy. So, Ime Udoka, you better be ready for a different type of thing. You can't run what you ran in Boston and think it's going to work in Brooklyn. I don't think you got the personnel for that, man. I've seen a very ugly movie when Mike D'Antoni joined the Los Angeles Lakers. And we were trying to run his system because we had seen him have so much success in Phoenix, and we just thought for sure if we get him here, we're going to get that same dynamic, even though we literally had huge players that only want to play in the half court. But nevertheless, he came here. We thought we were going to get that dynamic. We got the complete opposite. It failed, crashed, and burned. I don't know that Ime Udoka is going to have that problem, but what I'm saying is it's kind of the same dynamic from Phoenix to the Lakers, from Boston to Brooklyn. So That's what I see there. He's just gonna have to make the adjustment and be patient. Be patient with the lack of defense on the squad. So that's what I would say to him. I don't know. Everybody likes taking risks with their teams. You know, I just look at teams like Brooklyn. I'm like, you guys are very intent on making this season be a championship caliber one, and I just think that is extremely risky given what it is that you got going on. I think you would probably stand to benefit from bringing KD more flexibility for that duration of that contract, unless you guys have some plans to bring yourself some foundation. Because at the end of the day, even though that's a fantastic player, he's already had an Achilles injury and he's older. So that contract of 4 years, by the tail end of that contract, you really want to make sure the team around him has a lot of help. And if you guys aren't doing things that put you in a position to have that flexibility or the contracts or the picks or whatever that'll manifest that talent, you're asking for it. You're asking for that contract to be god awful at the end, or you're asking for him to want to leave, or whatever the worst scenario would be at that time. So I just know better. You know, all these things trickle down to whether or not guys get healthy. If they have enough help, have enough players that could play their position so that they ain't got to stay on the floor all the time, so that they don't have to rush back from injuries and stuff like that, you better make sure you have that talent in place. If you don't, these contracts are going to be worse for it. And so that's what it is, man. I know these things. I talk about it all day long, every day. So I'm hopeful somebody catches it and starts doing things the right way. So that's what it is, man. Ime Udoka's coming in, man. A limited roster this will be, and I don't know where his head's at. So if he's got it together, then he'll be a good coach for them. If he don't have it together, they will reject him quicker than they rejected Steve Nash. I know it. It can get ugly quick. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, are you sure about this particular hiring? Are you sure? Because if he ain't ready, you throwing him into the lion's den, and these are vets. That's another thing. Like, I don't know how they feel about whatever, but these are vets. So as to which there wouldn't be certain energies in regards to bringing a certain guy in. Now it's like, because you have grown men in place, they may want to ask some questions. They may want to know if you're going to be a loyalty issue. You know, they might want to know if they can trust you in certain situations or what have you. And maybe young players wouldn't even ask those type of questions. So I don't know. I just think Ime Udoka probably needs a little more time away from the realities of what it is he just went through before you can ask him to face adversity on a basketball floor with a team that may not be very talented. So I don't know, man. Keep it like playing with fire. This is sort of like when the Lakers brought Russell Westbrook to their team and mortgaged all kinds of real assets to bring him in, knowing that didn't look all that great. It's kind of like that, but in a different way. It's like you already got a volatile situation and you're bringing controversy to you. You know, you got a mental health concern with Ben Simmons, and potentially now you're bringing one here to you with your coach. I don't know if people are paying attention to it that way, but it seems to me that people are not on that frequency over there. Just being real, they're not, and so I'm trying to help, but hopefully it works out for the Brooklyn Nets, man. I'm hopeful that they can kind of sort their situation out. Like I said, Ime Udoka is super gifted, but I just don't know if he's going to be ready. You know, just like I didn't think Ben Simmons was ready, I don't think Ime Udoka is ready. So we'll see. I know one thing's for sure. If the Brooklyn Nets are happen to be good enough to make the playoffs and they do see the Boston Celtics, boy, that's going to be one heck of a matchup. And every one of those matchups throughout the season, ooh, talk about must-see TV. You're going to want to see that. So that's what I got to say, man. BBL 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.